And we talked about, prior to my leaving here, flowing together in the anointing. And I realized that I haven't given you much information on what the anointing is. So today I'm going to give you some of that, and that you'll understand and value it to a degree that you won't take it lightly. Isaiah 10:27 says, and it shall come to pass. It shall come to pass. It shall, not maybe, it shall come to pass in that day that his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck. And the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. Somebody say, because of the anointing. That's why burdens and yokes will come off of our lives. This particular chapter is talking about the Assyrians who had the Israelis, the Israelites into captivity, and they were in hard burden. They were being beaten. They were just in hard captivity by the Assyrians. But there's a promise in this says that because of the anointing, and in that day that the anointing come, the burden shall be removed, the yoke shall be destroyed. That means it should be demolished. It means that whatever things that the adversary was doing and the one who had them bound would be demolished. That word destroyed means demolished. It won't work. Whatever it has, it will be rendered helpless. He said, it shall come to pass in that day. Burden shall be taken away from off your neck. Listen to what the Amplified Bible says. It says, it shall come to pass in that day that the burdens of the Assyrians shall depart from your shoulders, and his yoke from your neck. The yoke shall be destroyed because of fatness, which prevents it from going around your neck. In other words, your neck will be so supplied that the devil won't be able to put a yoke on you with the anointing. I know you're not going to get excited yet because you understand yokes are, let me help you with what a yoke is. Yoke is an animal harness. Shouldn't be on human beings. Not yokes, not harnesses. You shouldn't be bound. It was not for the children of God. It's a wooden frame for harnessing two drafts animals or two animals to whatever they have to pull. In other words, it hooks around their neck so they walk together. Now, we should be yoked up as believers where we walk together because this word, he says, my yoke is easy. Now, this yoke is a hard yoke. God says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. My yoke is easy and my burdens are light. Now, see, a lot of Christians got that yoke on them, the one that has them harnessed like an animal, but God really wants you to be free like a bird because his yoke is easy. Now, you hooked up to one yoke or the other, and that's moment by moment, day by day. Now, this yoke keeps those animals joined together so that they don't lose their pace. Now, God really wants us to be yoked, edified. Now, let me just get down to it. We're talking about a yoke, but we also talking about an anointing that destroys the yoke. We must value the anointing and allow the anointing to flow in and on us and through us. The anointing, well, to anoint someone is to smear, to rub on, or to rub in, to anoint. Now, all through the Bible, we'll find in the Old Testament, people got anointed either by God or by prophets. God, well, we know that Samuel went and anointed David as king. He went and poured on. That's it, to smear. Did I say pour on? Pour on and to rub in. That's it. Smear, pour on, to rub in. Actually, if you really get down to it, if you deal with a physical bottle of oil, what happens is the oil is poured on. It's poured out and on, right? Then it becomes to a place where it is rubbed in to the point that it gets on the inside of that which it is poured on and rubbed into. smeared on such a way that it become one. The anointing is nothing strange. It is something that comes from heaven. We use a bottle in the book of James. It says, if anybody is sick, let him call for the elders of the church and let them anoint them with oil so that their sins would be forgiven and that their bodies would be healed. So it's a place in the New Testament, but in the Old Testament, we saw that the anointing was on men individually, and they did stuff like Samson, who took the jawbone of an ass and slew 1,000 men. That's the anointing. The anointing is such a way that when David took one slingshot and he killed a giant because God was on that slingshot because David got something poured on his life. I'm trying to help you to value the anointing so that you don't drop the anointing at every little fashion and every little thing that blows, you won't just flow with it. Every new fad, you won't go with it. You understand? Because the anointing is so valuable, it helps you to win wars. It helps you to do battles. It helps you to walk above the natural aspect of a school teacher or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever you do. Every profession that you're in, you need the anointing, and you must value the anointing above your profession. Chapter 4. Say Luke chapter 4. Verse 18. Are you there? It says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because, watch this, because it has, the anointing has a purpose to it. The anointing is upon me because he, God, have anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. It has purpose to it. You got to understand, God does not give an anointing just for you to sit on. God does not give an anointing just for you to be cute. Come on here. I'm trying to tell you here. Some people don't understand that the anointing has a cost to it. All is precious. That's why when that lady came in with the alabaster box in the New Testament, when Jesus was getting ready to die, all the disciples got upset and said, what waste is this? Why are you wasting it? No, you know what? That oil from that anointing is still flowing today. That woman knew something. That woman knew that the anointing cost something. That God was going to lay down his life for you and me so that we might live eternally. Amen. Come on here. It costs. Say, somebody say the anointing costs. Say the anointing is expensive. Say the anointing is valuable. It removes burdens and destroys yokes. My God, it's such a cloud up in here. I'm trying to help you here. So he says, the Spirit of the Lord, watch this. Well, come on here. The Spirit of the Lord has something to do with the anointing. If there's no Spirit of the Lord there, there is no anointing. I don't care what church you is. I don't care how many members you got. If you don't have the anointing, the Spirit of the Lord is not there. I don't care. They come and they're going. But I want to know, is the Spirit of the Lord in the place? Come on here. We crowd oriented, and that's okay. But I'm trying to tell you, he said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me for a reason. Somebody say, because he have anointed me. Say, he's anointed me. And it's valuable. It's precious. And I value it.
Holy Spirit.